Welcome to Redacted Reality. If the allure of the shadowy, cryptic, and mystical tales captivate you, then please subscribe and hang around. Chapter 8. 3 phones, no answers. Sarah placed her empty cup on the table with a sharp click and pulled out her phone. Her fingers found Joe's number in her recent calls, tapping it with growing impatience. 1 rang, 2 rang, 3. Then the generic voicemail greeting. "Damn it, Joe," she muttered, ending the call without leaving a message. She tried Sam next, the scream illuminating her increasingly tense features. Straight to voicemail. "This isn't like Sam," she said, her annoyance building as she scrolled to Ellie's contact. "He always answers, even when he's in the middle of nowhere." Ellie's phone didn't even ring, just the immediate kick to voicemail. Sarah slammed her phone down the table, causing their empty plates to rattle. "I swear, if they're just sleeping off a hangover." But the tightness in her chest suggested something worse. Joe was reliable to a fault. Sam always kept his phone charged. And Ellie never turned her phone off, not after that climbing incident 3 years ago. "They should have checked in by now," she said, her irritation masking the first tremors of fear. "This isn't some college road trip where you go dark for days." Marcus and Lily exchanged worried glances as Sarah's expression hardened. Marcus pushed back his chair, his legs scraping across the floor. "Let me try the front desk. Maybe they're just not hearing their phones." He crossed the lobby, where a thin woman with pinched features glanced up from her computers. Marcus described the situation, and the clerk nodded, lifting the hotel phone. "Room 212, no answer. Room 214, nothing there either." She hung up after the third attempt. "I'm sorry, sir. Can I ask, have you seen them this morning? Joe's tall, broad-shouldered, short sandy hair. Sam's about my height, with curly blonde hair, and he usually has a camera. And Ellie, auburn hair and a braid, athletic build, and she's got a small compass tattoo on her wrist." The clerk shook her head. "I've been here since 6, and I haven't seen anyone matching those descriptions leave the hotel." Another staff member organizing brochures nearby looked up. The night clerk mentioned somebody going out late, around midnight, but nobody's come through the lobby this morning fitting those descriptions. Marcus felt a chill crawl up his spine as he returned to the table. "They're not answering their rooms, and no one's seen them leave this morning," he reported, his attempt at casualness failing. "But they went out last night." Marcus led the way up the narrow staircase, his hand gripping the worn wooden banister. "The night clerk definitely saw them heading out around midnight," he said, his voice tight with concern. "They didn't say where they were going, but they had gear with them." Sarah's footsteps quickened behind him. "Gear? What kind of gear?" "Backpacks, flashlights. The clerk thought they might be doing some night photography." Marcus reached the second-floor landing and turned down the hallway. Sam had his camera bag. Lily's face paled. "You don't think they went to the house, do you?" The question hung heavy in the air and unwelcome. None of them wanted to voice the obvious conclusion. "Ellie was pretty worked up about those animal deaths on the news," Marcus admitted as they reached room 212. "She mentioned wanting to check it out sooner rather than later." Sarah pounded on the door with the flat of her hand. "Joe? Sam? It's Sarah." The hollow echo of her knocks reverberated down the empty corridor. Silence. She tried again, harder this time. "Guys, open up." Nothing stirred within. "Maybe they stopped for breakfast somewhere," Lily suggested, her optimism sounding even forced to her own ears. Marcus moved to the next door and knocked on 214. "Sam? Ellie? You in there?" Sarah pressed her ear against the door. "I don't hear anything. Not even movement." "They wouldn't just go to that house without telling us," Lily said, wrapping her arms around herself. "Would they?" Marcus exchanged a look with Sarah. "Ellie might, especially if she thought she was protecting us by not mentioning it." Sarah pulled out her phone again, dialing Joe's number with trembling fingers. they all heard the faint buzz of a phone vibrating from inside the room. "His phone's in there," Sarah whispered, her voice cracking. "Joe never leaves his phone behind. Never." The realization settled over them like a shroud. Their friends had gone out in the middle of the night to a house connected to an entity they barely understood and hadn't returned. "We need to get into those rooms," Sarah said, her jaw set with determination. "And we need to get to that house." "I'll head back down to the front desk," Marcus said, already moving towards the stairs. "Maybe they can let us in. You two should check the parking lot. If Joe's truck is gone, we'll know for sure." Sarah nodded, her face a mask of controlled panic. "Good call. Come on, Lily." The two women hurried down the back stairwell that led directly to the side exit. The morning air hit them with a damp chill as they stepped into the parking lot, scanning the row of vehicles. "Joe drives that blue Ford F-150, right?" Lily asked, squinting against the morning sun. Sarah moved methodically through the lot, her steps quickening with each passing row. "It's not here," she finally announced, her voice hollow. I checked twice. They definitely took his truck." Meanwhile, Marcus leaned against their front desk, trying to appear casual despite his racing heart. "Our friends aren't answering, and we're getting a little worried. Can you possibly let us into the rooms, just to check if they're okay?" The clerk's polite smile hardened. "I'm sorry, sir, but we can't just let people into occupied rooms. It's against hotel policy." "But they might be in trouble," Marcus pressed, lowering his voice. "They went out last night and haven't come back." "Adults are allowed to stay out, Mr. Kelly," he replied, typing something onto her computer. "If they haven't returned by tomorrow morning, we can arrange for security to accompany us for a wellness check. But until then, I'm afraid my hands are tied." Marcus rejoined Sarah and Lily by the hotel entrance, the grim expressions mirroring his own. "The truck's gone," Sarah confirmed. "And the front desk won't budge until tomorrow," Marcus added. Lily wrapped her arms around herself. "We all know where they went." "Here's what we do," she said, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her insides. "We drive out to the Whittaker house and do a perimeter search. We don't go inside. We don't even get out of the car. Just drive around the property, maybe a little way down the driveway, and see if Joe's truck is there." Marcus nodded, already fishing his keys from his pocket. "Smart. We spot the truck, we'll know they went there. And if we see anything concerning," Sarah continued, "anything at all, we'll call the police immediately, and we'll be back well before dark." Lily shifted her weight, eyes darting between her companions. "Wait, are we sure this is the best approach? We're just jumping to conclusions based on what? A missed breakfast and some unanswered calls?" Sarah turned to her, brows furrowed. "Their phones are in the rooms, Lily. Joe's truck is gone. What other conclusion is there?" I don't know." Lily tucked a strand of hair behind her ears, her voice gaining strength. "Maybe they went out for drinks last night and crashed somewhere else. Or maybe they could be having breakfast at that diner we passed on the way into town." She paused. "It just feels premature to head straight for the creepy murder house." The wind picked up, rustling dead leaves across the parking lot. Marcus jingled his keys, a metallic sound cutting through the tension. "Lily has a point," he admitted. "But so does Sarah. We know what Ellie was like when she saw those news reports, and the house, that thing inside it, it's been drawing people in for decades." Sarah paced a tight circle on the asphalt. "Every minute we stand here debating, they could be..." She cut herself off, unwilling to voice what they all feared. "Look," Marcus said, "we'll do a quick drive-by, stay in the car, be back within an hour. If we don't find anything, we'll check every diner and bar in town." Lily crossed her arms, unconvinced. "And if we do find something, what then? We three against whatever took Miranda, whatever's been feeding on this town for generations?" "Then we call the police," Sarah repeated firmly. "We don't engage, We don't investigate. We just get professionals involved here. A heavy silence fell between them. In the distance, a church bell tolled the hour. Fine, Lily finally conceded. But we stick to the plan. No heroics, no impromptu rescue attempts. We look from a distance and we're back before sunset. Agreed, Sarah said, relief flooding her voice. They piled into Marcus's car, the leather seats cold against their backs. As Marcus turned the key, the engine sputtered once before catching, as if reluctant to carry them toward their destination. The drive passed in tense silence, each lost in their own thoughts. The roads narrowed as they left town, tall trees crowding the shoulders, their bare branches forming a skeletal canopy overhead. Take it slow when we get close, Sarah instructed as they approached the turnoff. We don't want to announce our arrival. Through the trees, the mansion's silhouette emerged, a jagged shadow against the gray winter sky, waiting for them like a patient predator. The Whittaker house. Lily's voice cracked. We can't just go there. That's exactly what got our friends into trouble. If they're even in trouble. Sarah pulled her jacket tighter around herself, her expression hardening. We don't have a choice, Lily. 3 people don't just vanish without a trace. They might not have vanished, Lily countered, her hands fidgeting with the zipper of her coat. Maybe they just went out for breakfast, or drove to that diner we passed on the way into town, one with the giant pancake sign. Marcus shook his head. With all their phones left behind, Joe's is literally vibrating in his hotel room. I'm not suggesting we storm the place, Sarah said, her tone measured but firm. Just a perimeter search. We drive around the property, maybe a little way down from the driveway, and see if Joe's truck is there. The wind picked up, sending dead leaves skittering across the parking lot. Marcus watched them tumble and twist, remembering the warnings from the locals at the tavern. Sarah's right, he finally said. We stay in the car. We don't approach the house. If we see Joe's truck, we'll call the police and let them handle it. Lily stepped back, wrapping her arms tighter around herself. And what if we see something else? What if we see... She couldn't finish the sentence. We won't get out of the car, Sarah repeated, her voice softening. And we'll leave well before dark, I promise. The drive to the Whittaker property stretched in tense silence. Lily sat in the back seat, staring out the windows as barren trees gave way to overgrown fields. Marcus gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white. Turn here, Sarah directed, consulting her phone. There should be a service road that circles behind the property. The car bumped along the rutted dirt path, branches scraping against the windows like skeletal fingers. The woods thickened, casting long shadows across their path despite the morning sun. This feels wrong, Lily whispered. It's like we're being watched. It's just an old house, Marcus said, though his voice lacked conviction. They rounded a bend, and the Whittaker house came into view through the trees, a looming Victorian silhouette against the pale sky. Even from this distance, something about its presence made the air feel thinner, harder to breathe. There, Sarah pointed suddenly. Between those trees, is that... A glint of blue metal caught the sunlight. Joe's truck, parked haphazardly near his side entrance, partially hidden by overgrowth. Oh God, Lily's voice trembled. They really did come here. Marcus slowed the car to a crawl. I don't see any movement, no sign of them outside. Keep driving, Sarah instructed, her eyes scanning the property. Let's circle the whole perimeter before we decide what to do. As they continued around the back of the property, the house seemed to watch them, its blank windows like dead eyes, tracking their movement. The air inside the car grew colder despite the heater running at full blast. Look there, Marcus pointed to a section of disturbed earth near what must have been the kitchen garden. Something's been dragged through the dirt. A dark trail led from the overgrown garden toward the cellar entrance, a yawing black rectangle against the foundation. We need to call the police, Sarah said, her voice hollow. Now. What if they don't believe us? Lily asked. What if they just think we're making up ghost stories? Then we'll make them believe, Sarah replied, already dialing. Because I'm not leaving our friends in that house 1 minute longer than necessary.